All right, so Kyle Shanahan was introduced yesterday officially as the new coach of the Niners. And, of course, he faced questions about the Super Bowl and the play calling. We haven't really heard from Kyle since the game. I haven't heard any audio from Kyle to talk about what his philosophy was and what his thinking was during the second half of that game.
I read the quotes. You have the audio?
We've got the audio here. This was yesterday at the press conference when he was asked about the play calling specifically in the second half.
Tim Calcombe, Mercury News. Kyle, there was a report that after the Super Bowl you were telling people that you blew it. Is that accurate? And is that something to be cliche, that you learn from, you take to this job, and maybe there things that you say you're going to remember from that, certainly the fourth quarter, that you take into this job?
Of course. I remember every single play, and I will go over those for the rest of my life. That's kind of the life we live as coaches, and it's magnified in the Super Bowl, but it's also that case in every game. And I was informed of that report actually a few hours before I came in here. I don't know if I use those exact words, but that sounds about how I talk. It's when you're the coordinator of an offense or you're the head coach of a team, you're responsible for what happens out there. And if a play doesn't go right, if a player misses something, that starts with the offensive coordinator when you're on offense. And I did believe we had a very good chance to win that game, especially at the end, and we didn't get it done.
It's such a stark contrast, though, his personality and McVay's personality.
Yeah.
McVay's just a stud. His personality.
Well,
he's
McVay
very
walks in,
stoic.
he just owns
Shanny's
the
very
room type of
stoic.
guy.
He's a lot like his dad.
He's an X's and O's guy. I get it, but still.
But, it's basically what we thought he would have said. He didn't change the game plan. That's the way he coached. That's the way he called plays all year.
And I actually like what he said, too. Yes, this is how we played all year. And, I thought about everything at the time. I know I prepared as well as I could, as hard as I could. I don't think he particularly second guesses himself in the sense that he knew he was giving his best effort. He might second guess the result, but he thought he was doing the right thing at the time, so he can sleep well.
Oh, I think he second guesses the calls. I think he does second guess the calls.
Well, because of the
when he says he blew it.
results.
Yeah.
But I think he said
right. But I think he sees it as, you know what? He's not convinced that he made the right move.
Sure, he made exactly, but he thought at that time he was making the right move. So it wasn't like he was
also moving very fast.
Right, but it wasn't like he was nonchalantly making these calls. He knew what he was doing, and he thought that they were going to work. They didn't, so sure, he should have
said. But he said he's going to learn from it. And next time, if he's ever in the Super Bowl again, and they have a lead like they did, and they're in field goal position to absolutely clinch it, he'll probably run the football.
I think so. But
he learn from it.
He didn't do that nonchalantly. He didn't do that not thinking. He was thinking. He just
thought they would
going to do what they were doing.
Yeah, he was comfortable with what he called.
Yeah.
He thought they would work. If he didn't, he wouldn't have called those plays.
But it's not completely on him. As we talked about it, Dan Quinn had the opportunity to overrule it. Dan Quinn was in Seattle when they chose to throw the ball instead of hand the ball to Marshawn Lynch, which cost them a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn could have overruled him. And the other thing is, Matt Ryan, an MVP quarterback, could have thrown the ball away, could have avoided a sack, could have audibilized, could have done a lot of different things. And
Devontae Freeman could have made the block.
The exact worst thing he could do. The strip sack was really the worst because if you just punt the ball there, you're going to make the Patriots use far more clock.
Yes.
It was just a horrible
It was just a horrible
turn
sequence.
of events
Yeah,
at
it really
every
was.
bad time.
Misstep after misstep after misstep. But he was highly responsible for it, Kyle Shanahan.
Sure. But I like his response. I'll be honest with you. I like his response. I don't think he's saying I'm not going to learn from it. I think he's saying, look, I took this seriously. I thought we were doing the right thing, and it just didn't work out. And and it will haunt me the rest of my life.
And to me, whether or not he is as charismatic or personable as Sean McVay is immaterial. There's so many coaches that are personable who are successful, but also
I don't think it's immaterial.
And there are so many that are not personable and not charismatic who are highly successful.
I don't think it's immaterial because I think you have to have a certain amount of charisma to lead a football team. I think Belichick shows us no charisma, but he's got charisma. He just doesn't. He just doesn't show it.
Well, I'm talking about the public persona. All we know is the public persona. None of us know how these guys are behind the scenes, really. We don't know what they're like in meeting rooms.
Only through reports.
Right.
Yeah.
Not every coach is
part of the job.
Not every
which
coach is a
public.
guy that you're going to go out and want to have a beer with.
Correct.
aren't.
Absolutely.
Correct.
But you just have
But
to
I
have
think it
respect.
factors in.
You have to respect the players.
You have to have
You got to be
respect
able
for
to
it.
lead.
But exactly. And but part of that is, hello, I don't think you could just be a soulless robot and lead.
Right, you
I
have to
think
be
you
a communicator,
I think
too.
you have to have some charisma to lead. You just do. You have to have an it.
Well, my guess
factor.
is his personality is not going to be that dissimilar than his father's personality. He won two
that's what I
Super
But
said.
his
Bowls.
father
It's like
had
his
a
dad.
commanding presence. I don't, be honest with you, I don't get a commanding presence from Kyle. I hope it works.
Yeah, so do I.
But
So do I, my friend.
I
You
think
wanted to reignite your
I've
love for
got
the
my
Niners.
questions. I've got my questions. But you know what? You just need a quarterback. If he can develop one, whoever they draft or sign, then it could work out. But it's so difficult to do.